Hi there, welcome to Frugal Full. My name's Lara, and on this very sunny but rather cold winter's day in Scotland, I thought I would bring you with me to do a wee cooking day. So this is the final week of No Spend February, and I'm actually switching things round. It's a wee swapperoonie today, because normally it would be a Thrifty Tuesday and a Thankfulness Thursday, or some sort of abundance, gratitude related type thing on a Thursday. But I'm switching it around this week because so on Thursday the video will be all about how No Spend February's gone and what my food shop was for the final week of February. So part of the video will have been filmed when I did that shop, and then I'll explain about the different sinking funds and the different weekly spends and a wee overview of how the month went, reflections on what I feel has been good learning from this experience that I'm going to bring forward for the rest of the year in the following No Spend month, which is No Spend March. And I might even give it a wee nickname to myself, maybe Minimalist March or something. We'll see. I'm still to decide on that. So, or Minimal March, maybe. Minimal Spend March. Yeah, I like that. Minimal Spend March. There we go. So the Thrifty Tuesday this week's actually going to be a Thrifty Thursday. And today's Tuesday video is actually going to be about abundance in a sense. So thankfulness and abundance, because I'm thankful that I can try and find ways to stretch what's leftovers in the fridge, the freezer, the cupboards, and make those last, because my final shop of the month is done, but there is still a few days of February left, and I've been a bit like Mother Hubbard, looking in the cupboard thinking, oh, there isn't really that much left to make meals. What on earth can I eat for the rest of the month? But actually, when I look deeper, I can see that there are so many things potentially that I could use these ingredients to turn into meals. Some of the things seem so random, and I was thinking, I wonder what I can actually do with this stuff. But I've been putting my thinking cap on a wee bit, and I've got a few ideas about what I might do. So as far as how I eat at the moment, I want to lose some weight, and I want to try and do a sort of eating pattern where I do intermittent fasting. So when I come out of the fast, I then have a sort of bigger breakfast or brunchy type thing. So as far as actual kind of breakfasty brunch type ingredients are concerned, there's still plenty of leftovers I'm using up, because there's still leftover low sugar muesli and porridge, and there is still a whole bunch of frozen fruit items and things like frozen avocados and frozen smoothie mix. So my challenge for the rest of the month in March is I want to use up all the frozen fruit in the freezer, and also having the muesli having the muesli and the porridge available there, and there's one fresh banana left. That will all come in handy, because there'll be three main types of breakfast I have: either smoothies, which can be oat smoothies to make them more filling, or porridge with some fresh or dried fruit added. And if I feel I need a protein boost, then there's nut butter as well. A wee bit of nut butter's nice in porridge. Or the other possible, I'm super tongue-tied today, apologies. The other kind of breakfast, mixing yogurt with the muesli and adding some fresh or dried fruit on top, is super tasty. So I've got a wee demonstration of that coming up in the video today, to show you just how affordable it is per meal to do that as a breakfast option. And it's so nutritious and it's delicious, because it takes a cereal that would otherwise seem pretty bland and it jazzes it up a bit. And because there are often things, oh yeah, and also adding things like chopped nuts. I've got a bag of chopped nuts and seeds to use up, so I think I'll throw some of that in when I'm having my muesli, or when it's the smoothies, then something like that could be thrown in. Obviously, if you had a nut allergy, obviously you wouldn't do that or use nut butter. But also a bit of nut butter thrown into the porridge. No, not yeah, the porridge or the smoothie is also really good, because that nut butter adds a protein kick. So you're getting the carbs, fruit and veg, and protein. So it's a good sustaining meal with either of those three options. And as I say, I've pretty much got all the ingredients I need to have those breakfasts. The only thing is the milk. So when I get my first shop of the month, that will include, I've got a bit of milk to keep me going for the week, but that will include milk when I get my next shopping, as I'll explain when that time comes. The milk I get's usually either soya milk or oat milk. I would love to learn to make my own, but I haven't crossed that bridge yet. I don't know whether it's better value for money yet or healthier. I'm still trying to figure that out. The good thing is the milks that I have bought seem to have very minimal ingredients, which is good. The less ingredients, the more wholesome, so that's a good sign. But almond milk, I'm not a big fan, but I might try and see if I can get used to it, because that will be even more nutritious, but of course more fattening too, so it's got to be had in more moderation. But as part of my weight loss efforts, another thing I'm going to do is start actively rationing out my milk each day, because otherwise I could spend a lot on milk, and also it's a lot of hidden calories. So portioning out is a good way. Also, I have some Slim Fast powder still in the cupboard. I don't know if I can face it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it really helped me last year to lose 2.5 stone before my big trip. I went away for my 40th last year, and it was the trip of a lifetime, and it really meant the world to do that. But I knew I was going to be walking a lot. I walked about 10 or 12 hours per day. In fact, I walked so much that one of my toenails ripped off. And then I was covered in blisters, but you know what, I was joyously sore on my feet, because I was just so happy to explore by foot, because that's my favourite way to experience a holiday. There's so many things to take in by doing that, and it's just so satisfying. But anyway, I knew I'd be very active, so I wanted to shift as much weight as I could before the trip. And as I say, I lost 2.5 stone, which I was absolutely delighted with. That also, it was the Slim Fast, healthy eating, intermittent fasting, and also a lot of swimming. So at the moment, and also a lot of walking. Walking and swimming at the moment I haven't been doing, but hope that they can be brought back into my life next month in March. And if I'm starting on the Slim Fast again, and the intermittent fasting, and just generally being sensible and having 2 meals a day. There's a thing called OMAD, but I prefer 2 meals a day. So TMAD, I guess you could call it TMAD. To me, I feel that that's much more realistic, and the eating window can still be quite small, because a lot of intermittent fasters do a 16-8, so it's 16 hours fasting and 8 hours feeding window. It doesn't have to be that, it's flexible, but I like that balance. But having 2 meals, it's good, because that 8-hour window I can have my sort of brunchy one, and then at some point within that 8-hour window have my dinner, my main meal. And I find that that works really well, and also just not really snacking at all in that 8-hour window. My body gets used to that pretty quick. And also I find that my energy levels are a lot better, and I have a clearer mind when I do intermittent fasting. So it's definitely a win-win. Although I would say I find it a lot easier in the springtime. It's a harder thing to do in the winter for sure, because I don't know about you, but my body always craves a lot more carbs in the winter. So yeah, I thought I would share how I plan to eat now for the coming months, and hopefully just an ongoing lifestyle thing. And hopefully that's helpful information to share with you guys. And what I'm going to do now is show you, I've got a whole bunch of food sitting in front of me, mainly from the cupboards in the fridge, thinking, I wonder how I could use these things up to make them sustain me till the 1st of March. I don't want to go and buy anything until the beginning of March now, because I've finished all my budgeting for the month. So I will not be going out to any shops, and I'm just going to figure out how to use these items and stuff in the freezer and that kind of thing. And I'll show you what my thoughts are, and then I'll get cooking. Let's turn the camera around to show you. Here we go. So what I'll say is that, because this is the same piece of filming, what I'll probably do, because otherwise all this writing will be back to front, I'll probably keep that first portion of the video on selfie mode, so I'll be back to front. And then it means that the writing on these things makes more sense. So it'll be half back to front video. So there's a whole bunch of things here, and I'm thinking, right, how am I going to do this? What can I do? So there are 3 things that I'm going to try out, and hopefully they'll work. I know the first one will, which is making a risotto. I've made risotto in the past lots of times, and it's really delicious, but it's only going to be a very small portion this time, maybe enough just for one meal, because unless I find more frozen mushrooms, because there aren't enough mushrooms to make a big batch. But the next step's going to be checking out the freezer. So if I find a whole bunch of mushrooms in there, then brilliant, I can make a decent sized batch. But it's going to be a mushroom and onion risotto. I might also throw some beans in as an experiment and see how that turns out, because that'll just add to the protein factor. Another meal also using some of these mushrooms and spring onions that I'm thinking of is, well, yeah, I'm thinking of doing something with these noodles. So I don't even know yet if I'm going to like the noodles. They were given to me by my colleague. She had a relative visiting and they'd bought them but went back home and didn't use them. And she thought I might use them because I love things like udon, ramen, all kind of Japanese noodles, egg noodles in general, but not flavoured ones. Never had these before. So yeah, I will use them, don't want to waste them. But I was just thinking how to make them delicious and flavoursome. So I'm thinking of doing some kind of black bean and use some mushrooms and onions and make some kind of black bean sauce, noodles or something. If I've got green beans of some sort in the freezer, I think they would go well. And then probably use some soy sauce or something as well. So let's see what happens. And then the other thing is, I do like chutney in and of itself, but this is going to spoil if it doesn't get used soon, and there's still loads left. And I don't have the kind of typical way I would eat chutney is with a load of salady things, and I'm not doing that this week. So I'm thinking that if I do something involving, it might sound strange, but I think it could be quite tasty, involving using some onions or maybe some spring onions and onions and then all these things are garlic, of course, because I'm a total garlic fiend. So some onions, garlic, or spring onions, garlic, and maybe some kind of beans, maybe like green beans of some sort, and mango, and use that to make some kind of saucy mix, and then use with rice and make some kind of sticky rice or something. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Oh, and also olives. Well, I mean, I can just happily munch through a jar of olives anyway. But the pesto, oh no, hang on. Yeah, the pesto, the olives, and frozen veggies. They can easily be used with pasta for part of a pasta dish. So here's some orzo pasta. So I'll probably end up making one day having some kind of veggie pasta pesto thing. And oh yeah, and also this is brine left over from my pickled gherkins, but it's got some bits of veggies and things in it. So I thought if I drained the brine, I could use some of the bits. They could be used as part of the sauce with the mango thing, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, I'll show you through the course of this video how these ideas turn out and if it works or not. So here's the selection of all the bits and pieces. These things are for the black bean sauce noodle meal. This is some cabbage from the freezer. I thought that would go nicely. This is the mango and bean, mango chutney and green bean with rice. There's some spring onion and garlic in there too. I'll add a splash of lemon juice as well. And it will have some red kidney beans in for a protein kick. And then for the risotto, I didn't find any more frozen mushrooms. However, there's peas and leek that were in the freezer. They both go nicely in a risotto, so I thought they'd be a good addition. And there's some garlic and spring onions here as well. And what I was thinking I might do is take these are a snack I bought reduced in TK Maxx before Christmas, and they're a bit like crisps, but they're made from dehydrated shiitake mushrooms. So what I think I'll do with them is grind them up in a pestle and mortar, and maybe top the noodles with the ground shiitake cubes. I think that could be quite flavoursome. Maybe also use as a topping for the risotto, but we'll see. So these are the things that I haven't used, but I mean, they'll keep and they can be used for other things. I was wondering if anyone has any suggestions, if you know any of any good dishes to use, any good dishes that I could use couscous and bulgur wheat for, then I would love to hear your tips and ideas. Please let me know, let us all know. There are a couple of recipes I like to use those ingredients for, but which I will share over time in due course. But yeah, I'm always stumped for ideas of what to do with couscous and bulgur wheat, but they're very nutritious and they're a good form of carbs. So any suggestions are much welcomed. Right, let's get cooking. Ta-da! So here are the meals. First of all, here's the risotto, the mango and bean sticky rice, and the black bean and mushroom stir-fry noodles. So let's do a little taste test of each. I know I'm going to like this because I've had risotto many, many times and I always enjoy it. It freezes really well too. Delicious. Nice and creamy. Good flavours. You could add more salt to taste if you wanted, but it's salty enough for me. I'm really looking forward to trying this sticky rice. This is something I've never done before. It wouldn't have occurred to me before, but when I looked at the chutney and then I was looking at everything, I thought, oh, that might be quite nice as a sauce. So let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, I love that. That's really tasty. It's got quite a spicy kick. So I did put chili flakes in and curry powder. So I would hold off on so much of that if you're not into spicy things. Oops. But I'm quite happy with spicy things. So, oh, I like that. I will definitely, if I ever have chutney to use up again, I will definitely make that again. And finally, let's try this one. Oh, I like that too. That's good, but it's a little bit dry. So what I would do is I would just put some more soy sauce on it when serving. The thing is, sometimes when things have been frozen and they're defrosted, that helps restore the moisture levels. But definitely with a little bit of soy sauce to serve, that would just jazz that up. Very happy with all of those. And as usual, I overestimated on the rice. So I'll use a bit of stock, maybe some onion or something, chopped tomato and basil, and that will do to make a little pot of tomato and basil soup. Tomato, basil and rice soup. And the great thing about that is it turns something that would be like a starter into a main course. It's a good way to stretch the food budget a bit further, to add things like rice or pasta to soups. So that's my extra bonus budget tip. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these meals. I'm very happy with how they've turned out, actually. The challenge I'm going to have now, the trouble, is that I don't really have enough Tupperware. So, and also I probably don't have enough freezer space, because this is going to be far more than I need for my dinners for the week. There's going to be leftover portions to freeze here. So I'll do what I can and freeze what I can. And what I can use up for meals over the next few days. Maybe even ask my mum very nicely if I could store some things in her freezer. We'll see. But anyway, I'll say toodaloo for now. Thank you so much for watching. It's great that you're here. And please let me know in the comments what kind of meals you enjoy making to use up leftover ingredients from your fridge, freezer and cupboards. I would love to hear it. And it's always great to share ideas and tips, especially with the cost of food these days. Whatever can make our food budget stretch further is well worth doing. So thanks again for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye.